Solaris, how we doing?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Like I always ask people, do you travel far today?
An hour and a half, but honestly, an hour and a half traveling is fine. Like, I like to travel anyway. Put your headphones in, listen to music. It's all good.
You do gig a lot, and we're gonna get into that. But let's maybe start with your name. Where does the name Solaris come from?
So Solaris, there's multiple meanings, but my meaning is Solaris, as in a solarium. It's like it can be like a glass building, with places for people to lay down, and the sun usually hits into the glass building and just warms people up. Sometimes giving them a tan, and that's like the same feeling I want to give people through music. Just make them feel warm and just nice inside.
Now that's wonderful. You're a man of many talents, and you're very multifaceted. Tell us about your varied gifts that you use for your music.
So a few things that I do is, play the sax, produce, sing, cello, bass, and really and truly it's just, I just had the opportunity when I was younger. Boredom comes into it a lot. Being bored helps a lot, and I was just able to fill my boredom with just learning new instruments and finding new ways to be creative.
That's wonderful. So, like you said, you're very multifaceted in your talents. Was it always your intention to be multi-talented? Was that an intention that you had from the very beginning?
No, I was just really bored. No, I liked being creative. I like, expressing myself in as many ways as I could. So, I like to learn new things. I like to be able to do as much as I can. So, in fact, this plays a part into it. I didn't have much in terms of like finances, family-wise. So what I've learned is what you can't pay for in money, you pay for in time. So instead of paying people to do stuff, I would just learn how to do it myself. And that's how I learned all the skills in music that I do have now.
So what you can't pay in money, you pay in time.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's dope. I think that's wisdom right there. Investing in your time when there are other resources not available. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So a question that many people might ask is, how do you avoid, because you're really great with the sax. I've heard your music. You're great with the saxophone, the singing, the production. It all sounds really great. So how can you be multi-talented while avoiding being a jack of all trades and a master of none? Because there's so many people you're like, I'm an actor and a rapper, but I'm better an actor than a rapper, but it kind of works. But for you, it seems like you seem to excel in all the various fields that you're in.
Thank you. Do you know what I would say? I would say don't separate the two. I think one thing that was like an old mindset that we used to have is you can do this and then this and then this, and they're all like little separate lanes, when really and truly everything is an essence of you and how you've how you've developed yourself, and the talents and skills that you picked up. It's all you at the end of the day. And whether, let's say, a singer or actor might be two different types of creative directions, but at the same time the person you are and the way that you make people feel through your music or your acting is generally the same. So that's how you just make things more gelled together and less of higher and this, lower than this, and more of this is one whole package, which is me.
So let me say, your music is great, and I recommend it to everyone. I mean, you're just fantastic. But one thing that you do is that you have a tendency to make great music whilst disregarding what is trending. It's like you make music from the heart. Why is that? Why is it like other people, you're like, oh, this is what's happening in the charts, so let me do exactly like that? What's your heart behind, or what's your vision for your music, and why do you not follow trends? Because you don't.
I think the first thing is, let's say for everybody, look at the music that you listened to 10 years that you still listen to today. There's two things. One, it's not quick cookie cutter music. That music doesn't last long. That's just plain simple and fact. And true to I'm 24. I've lived through, I wouldn't say I'm not old in wisdom by God's grace, but we've lived through many trends, and we've seen how music changes. Things change with the wind all the time. So instead of trying to be on what's current, try and think of something that you personally would enjoy for a long amount of time. And two, I feel like music really works because of the memories that you can attach to it. And sometimes when you are chasing trends, you can only attach the memory of the trend rather than a personal moment, and that's what makes music live long for each and every individual person.
So let's you mentioned memories. Let's get to that in a bit. You're you're a great performer. Like you engage with, like I've seen some of your gigs. You engage with the crowd. Um, how did that develop? Like you really interact with the crowd. I even saw some footage of you actually going going where the crowd is and performing there.
It's a must.
So tell me more about that, cause people really enjoy watching you, and you feel like you're part of something special. Tell me
Thank
more
you.
about that.
It was just basically, I was very timid before, 100%. I think everybody starts timid. Stage fright, don't move. Um, but then I think firstly, the big change for me was one, I feel much comfortable playing with people because they're just like the fun is shared. It's no longer the spotlight on me, but a spotlight on us. And then taking that into consideration, the changing the spotlight from me to us, I try and always encourage when I come on stage that it's not a performance where I'm performing to you, it's a performance where we're performing to everybody. Like, we are all the performers. So I do a lot of call and response. I'm always in the crowd. Sometimes I stand on a table, but I won't stand on this table today because we're in an interview. But like, whatever to make people just like, one, enjoy the moment and the time, and two, we're British, we're very like, conservative. But really and truly, like, whatever you can do to encourage someone to remember the moment, have fun in the moment, and forget about anything else that might be a struggle, I will do.
Yeah, that's amazing, and so let's get back to the, because we started talking about memories of a trend. Why do you think some artists are scared of not going for what they really want to do with their heart, and instead look at what is trending? And what would be your advice to them?
Okay, I'm going to give one angle because I know a lot of artists talk about this in different angles. One reason why artists might go with what's trending right now is one, because of social media algorithms, TikTok, Spotify. And two, because we're young adults in London, the price is going up, and we have that desperate feeling of, I need to make something of it, or I have to give up. And then they go and chase trends, hoping that their music will become successful quicker, they can earn a living off quicker, they can be less stressed quicker. What I would say is two things. I'll say this mainly. Music is cumulative. Our parents, when they ask us what you want to do, they want you to be a doctor, a lawyer, and so on and so forth. You tell them you want to be a musician, and they look at you like you're crazy. Being a musician isn't crazy. It's multifaceted, and I think that's where I've shared my musical skills into the business side. You got to be able to do as many things as possible that you like to do, and also provide value to other people. And when you do that over the years, like, it's just assured. You'll be more and more comfortable, you earn more and more, you'll build your fan base more and more, your music will be listened to more people more and more, and like, you won't have to struggle or stress about chasing the trend, and when that trend dies, you got to trace the next trend. And sometimes you might miss a trend, you might think something is going to be a trend and it's not. Just build your foundations. Build your own foundations. Take your time.
So yeah, that's really good. You're talking about performing on stage, connecting with people, doing what's really from the heart, and that's really good advice to any artists out there. So how did you get to perform at the Royal Albert Hall, mate? Like, how did you even get there? Cause that's huge.
This won't be a common theme in the future, but as of now, a lot of the performances I do, I don't know how they found me. I don't know why they found me, but I actually did find out at the end of the Royal Albert gig. There was a performance that I did last year when I was playing for some afrobeat artists, and surprisingly, Wizkid came out and performed, and I played sax. And then the people who were organising the event at the Royal Albert Hall, which is like the young affiliates crew, saw that and are really excited, and were like, we want to see what this guy has like in store, we'd like to bring him down. And from there, I had that amazing opportunity to perform there once again, or be there once again.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So as well as that brings me on to say that for me, sometimes it's more than just having talent. It's about having good character. And so to any artists out there, and to those who want to reach to the notoriety that you have arrived, how important is character to your work? And also, how does your faith as a Christian inform you to have a certain character in order to arrive at the success that you're in now?
Um, I started my career holding on to Proverbs 18:16. That like your gifts will bring you what's it called in front of like good men or men of valor, or so on and so forth, or before kings. And like
Wonderful verse, by the way.
wonderful verse.
Yeah.
Proverbs. I love Proverbs.
Yeah.
So that was the verse I held on to. And in terms of character, like, let's be honest, let's be frank. People remember people by the way that you make them feel. We're Christians in this world, and you know we're here to spread the word. We're here to evangelize. We're here to let people know about Jesus. And if you want to do that on a personal level, people will listen to you when you allow them to feel safe. If you make them feel comfortable, if that's your character, who you are throughout that, doing that job is much more easier. Don't get me wrong, there's sometimes that, you know, we need to, you know, put our foot down and help a brother or sister out in terms if they're going left or right. But a good character and having a good heart, being someone who makes people feel comfortable, will always get you far. And in terms of music, it's just the same, really and truly. You know, I used to hear saying on like MTV, it was like, oh, if you say you're a Christian in this music industry, it's rap. No, the game's changed. The game has changed. Be a good person and don't compromise. Hold on to your integrity. People will see that, people respect that, and don't worry about what you might face in the moment, because in the long term, you know it's going to be much better.
So what you're saying is, like, for us Christians, is the more Christ-like you are, the more you're able to embody the loveliness of Christ, the more people would want to work with you, no matter what career you have.
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
100%. As much as this world is in a place where it is now, like, all humans want to feel a sense of love, and all humans want to feel a sense of community and of acceptance. So if you're a person that makes them feel like that on the get-go, you'll see opportunities fly your way all the time, because they just like being around you. And sometimes your talent won't even need to speak for you, just your character.
Yeah. So let's talk about a bit about your music, because there is a hot debate going on right now where there are Christians who kind of make music specifically to edify the body of Christ, say in worship, or, you know, whether it's Christian rap talking about deep spiritual things to edify the body. But that's not your approach. So my first question would be, why did you take that approach, firstly? And not to defend yourself, I'm just asking why are you taking the approach that you do as a Christian? Because, you know, the whole there's some people who are like, I am a Christian artist, and there's some who are like, I am an artist who happens to be a Christian. What's your view on all of that?
I think it's quite interesting. I think, firstly, for me, I feel like the best way for me to edify the body in Christ is like being a musician in church. I feel like the amount of praise and worship songs which I like praise and worship, and I'm Nigerian, so you know I like Nigerian gospel, which is what I like to get. I like to like dabble in making that 100%. I like to dabble in that once I develop more. But I feel like when it comes to being a gospel artist, it should be less about you and more about the music and so on and so forth. So when it comes to, like, you know, playing in church or being someone who can help in that gospel music scene, like, I don't want no attention. Like, let me just play the sax, let me just help convey this message, because at the end of the day, outside of the music and so on and so forth, it's the message that's the most important thing. And I think, there's people who make music to edify the body of Christ, and 100%, and there's people who make music who are Christians, and I think both sides are good, so long as, you know, you don't jump over any boundaries or XYZ or do anything that's a bit too wild. I think it's all okay, honestly. And also the main important thing, so long as you, let's say if you're making gospel music, you know, please try not to say something that's like outside of the word of God, because you don't want to lead people astray. Even if you think it sounds good, it might not be good for them.
So the question I want to ask, for those who do take the approach of not necessarily making Christian music, but to be like a light in the world, what are some of the misconceptions of those who take that approach? Say, for example, I don't want to answer the question for you. A lot of the critics who take that approach will say, for example, "Oh, you just want the money and fame." And for me, I've spoken to people who do what you do, and because I know them personally, that's not really their heart's desire for the money and fame. It's actually from a genuine place. Could you tell us more about that?
Some people just genuinely like, and I feel like everybody should, just genuinely like making music. And I think one thing that I realized, which will help when people have that idea of, oh, you're just making money for the music and fame, for the money and fame, is, you can make music full time and just earn a decent living. That's cool enough. Like, you don't have to have millions, you don't have to have billions, you don't need to, have billboards of yourself.
So you're saying you're not going for that.
You don't need to. Like, I will be honest, if that does happen, then obviously there's a fear in me that's like, oh, it might get to my head, which I have a lot of people around me who will help ground me. But really and truly, like, we just want to be able to we just want to make music our job, really. And like, I think it's possible. I think obviously we were in that generation of time where everybody who was famous was doing up craziness. But now, like, honestly, there's a lot of examples of people who, they make music in their community. They are Christians who make music, and like, the ego doesn't get to them, and it won't get to them because they're not gonna be shouting money, and they don't want to. And I think it's good, but they got the opportunity to do really cool things, have the opportunity to like go to them countries and play, and they're content with that, and that's it, just contentment.
Yeah. And with music, as with any art form, how important is accountability in that regard, to make sure that even though you are pursuing your creative pursuits, for lack of a better term, that you stay grounded, that you're not doing things that would compromise you as somebody who's trying to follow Jesus.
100%. Have the right people around you. Have like-minded Christians around you. Gather together. Don't forsake the gathering of the saints. Have someone that can hold you accountable, and then also you can hold them accountable, so therefore you have like a sense of responsibility, a sense of duty too, and also just grow together, really and truly. And everything goes back to the word at the end of the day. Outside of music, outside of every creative aspect, like, we're Christians first and foremost, and like, the word is our center, so just hold to what it says. That's pretty much it.
So I want to ask you another question, just as a Christian. With this issue, as with any other issue, what would be advice on how to approach with Christians who have a disagreement? Because what I tend to see, especially on social media, unfortunately, is that when two Christians disagree on everything, they can be very insulting. They can start saying stuff like, "Oh, this guy is no Christian. He's going to hell." Personally, I find that absolutely nasty. So what would be advice for people who? Because I can have a different perspective to you, but I still manage to talk about it in a way that I'm not compromising my conviction, but still speaks to you in a loving way. Because as soppy as it sounds, the rule of the kingdom from Jesus is love, right? Like, what's your view on that?
I think, honestly, simply, if you have one view and someone else has another view, come sit down and talk. Don't even have the cameras. Don't even make it a podcast, because as soon as you put the cameras and the microphone on, then someone wants to get a viral clip, or someone wants to say something that's like everybody wants to have a what's the they used to say back in the day? No. Everybody wants to have a. Do you remember Blackberry Messenger? Do you remember like statuses?
I didn't even have BBM.
You didn't have BBM. Everybody wants to have like a statusable saying, something that they say that's like, oh, this is powerful, impactful, and I feel like it can easily get to you. And also, everybody is, quote unquote, or believes that they're the hero in their own story. Everybody believes that they're wholeheartedly right. Just sit down and have this conversation, like, honestly, with someone who might oppose your view or have a different view. And like, I promise you, when you have a conversation, you might not agree with them, or you might do agree with them, but you will definitely come to a better understanding. Because
that's what it's about, right?
And social media. You remember, it's like a 0.1% of the real world. You will see glimpses of a certain thing and think it's gospel and think it's 100%. You might see an artist doing crazy thing and think, all artists are that. That's what, like our parents thought that all rappers are swinging chains and holding champagne bottles, and like that's because they just saw that on the media, and that's what they thought. So come sit down and have a conversation with somebody.
So let's talk about Nigerian music. I mean, it's popping, man.
Yes.
I mean, so you're Nigerian descent.
I am a Nigerian.
So I'm Kenyan, but I have to say, man, like whether it's afrobeats, whether it's Nigerian gospel music, even Nollywood's doing alright with Netflix. Why? I mean, I like it, but Nigerians are very creative. Let's admit that. Yes, right. I mean, you will but why do you think it's trending now? Everywhere you go, whether it's gospel, secular, movies. I mean, even novels back in the day. Yes. Some of the best novels written, people who are earning Nobel Peace Prizes for their literary contributions. They're all from West Africa, Nigeria in particular. Tell us more about that.
I think Nigerians dare to do what people may not want to do. Like, I'm sorry. Nigerians are known as prideful people. But you can take the good essence from that of, like, instead of the pride, you can take the audacity to challenge yourself. Like, when Nigerians want to do something, they will do it. They will make it work. We're very good worker people. And I think that's the reason why, like, afrobeats has gone far. I feel like that's the reason why, like, Nigeria's representation in movies, in acting, in commentary, or just, like, presenting. You see a lot of Nigerians. Nigerians are taking over the world, really. Can't lie. But, like, we just dare to do what we want to do, and I feel like anyone and everybody should do that. Just dare to do what you want to do.
So what you're saying in effect is that you do a lot of talk the talk, but you also walk the walk as well.
Yeah,
you guys work very hard. I ain't gonna lie.
And also, because we talk the talk, we have to make sure that we walk the walk.
We walk the walk.
Do you know what I'm saying? We have to make sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here for it, man.
100%.
I think, I love it. You also have a bit of African vibe to your music, should I say?
Yes.
Is that something that you always had, or did you just see that it's happening, therefore you kind of contribute to that? Is that something that you always?
It's my mom. My mom sang in choir. She was evangelist. She sang in the choir a lot, and she used to lead the choir a lot. So at home, we listen to a lot of Fuji music, a lot of Fuji gospel music, a lot of I remember, like, in 2005, we had, like, a gospel singer from Nigeria called Dr. Bolare come and live in our house for some time, and we were listening to all her CDs on repeat, and those rhythms and that way that they, like, make music and how it feels is amazing. So I like to just, like, take that piece of my childhood and put it into my music.
Yeah, that's wonderful. We're drawing to a close now, and it's been wonderful talking to you, bro. I really want to ask you, what do you love about serving Jesus in whatever capacity you do?
Community. People getting together, people being one in the heart, people being one in word, and then just helping each other, holding each other accountable, encouraging each other, lifting each other's spirits. It's so hard to do this life alone. It's so hard to do this life alone. And I think that's the one thing that helps me. Like, I feel like any time that I'm alone, you can kind of see, struggles you face, that deterioration. As soon as somebody else comes, like, two strands make a cord.
Thank you so much for that. I think that's amazing. And what should we expect from you in the near future? And also, we need to there's stuff already on Spotify, right? Yes, we need to let the guys know.
There's As For What's on Spotify, stream up until recently, and Sondela. I need to tell Spotify to take away the E mark. I don't know why they did that, making me feel bad. But an EP coming up very soon. I'm going to be expressing a lot of things about my life and the things I used to go through when I was living in the South, called Southside Saga. Coming very, very soon. I'm very excited to share that with people, and very excited to see how people take that in.
We look forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Solaris, thank you so much, man.
It's been a pleasure.
No, pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
God bless.
God bless you too.